Oh, welcome to a slightly different video than before. This is going to be sort of a 200 subscriber celebration, and also because I just finished. So what this is a programming language that I recently finished making. I've been making this for about a month now, and it's at a point at which I feel like it can actually be released because it's actually kind of useful. So yeah, although I will give you one reservation, it's really slow. Other than that, I think it's pretty good. So without further ado, I will begin to demonstrate the features. This is not a tutorial, but I will demonstrate some of the features that you can use. So basically, it's a functional language, and that means everything is, functions. Well, not everything is a function, but everything can be a function. Anyway, so to create things, use quotation marks to separate like statements, for example. So if I want to have this function which accepts a parameter, so the parameters go before the period. This is going to be, I'm assuming that you've programmed before, and probably should program with functional language before, and if you haven't, you should, because it's fun. Anyway, so the parameters go before the period. So you do a question mark, then a parameter, then a period, then you type your magical codes in here. So if you want to use the parameter that you created over there, you just put it in here like this. So this is a valid expression. It doesn't like do anything, but it's valid. Also, you don't technically need the quotes if there are no spaces. The quotes are just if there are spaces. So now if you want to like apply an argument to it, you type it outside of it like that, and now you'll say, see, that just says 10 because it takes the 10, puts it in for the x, then it just has x left, which is just 10. You can do math with this. So if I did this, you get back 20. If you want to see some examples of what you can do, I do have a number of tests right here that you can see. There are all sorts of things. You can access all the tests if you type in run test suite, press the button, it will run a bunch of tests. This is mostly for me to make sure that the programming language is working properly. All the outputs are giving what they should. So yeah. So I'm going to demonstrate a couple more things now. One of them is going to be a couple operators. One of them is going to be just the basic list generator, which is special since you specify the initial point, the increment, and then the end point, and it goes until it's less than. Alright, so if you type this, for example, and then you hit enter, it will generate a list of numbers for you from 1 up until less than 20, specified by the increment. You could do 5, for example. Well, I guess you could do 15, but that wouldn't be very interesting. You could do 5. You can do much higher increments, like 1,000. That's not 1,000. That's 1,000 or more. This is what I mean by it's slow. It took it like a second to generate that list of numbers there, which is kind of a really long time, and I wish it wasn't so slow, but it is. So anyway, there's the basic list generating capacity. You can have it like intersperse a symbol between them, which is mainly in there so that you can sum a bunch of numbers. So if you did this, you now summed every number between every multiple of 5 that's less than 10,000 you have added together, because essentially what you did is you took this, then you put 0 plus 5, then you put a plus between the 5 and the 10, and a plus between the 10 and the 15, and then it just calculated it all, which brings me to the next point, which is it has arbitrary precision arithmetic. So you can do large numbers, or you can calculate large numbers such as 2 to the 2048, which is this whole number, which is kind of a cool feature that I liked. It's really, this is generally what slowed it down so much. I'm going to go clear this out and redo it. Anyway, that's really the feature I think it makes it so slow compared to what it could be. There's also a factor command to prime factor the numbers. There's also a normal factor, but and that's why it says at the top primes generated. It uses that for the factoring. So yeah, and here it's going to take a while to factor this number. Anyway, there are a bunch of other commands that you can use and stuff, but I'm not going to demonstrate those at the moment. This time I'm just going to demonstrate some basic recursion that you can do with this. So what you can type to do recursion, since these things, as you've noticed, don't really have names, because it's pretty, I mean, you can give them names, but it's pretty purely functional. So what you do is you use the keyword this, which specifies that it is like this function that you want to do. That's what you're trying to do with it. So if I say this, that means I'm referring to it. So if I type, for example, if x equals 10, yeah, then we're just gonna, actually we're gonna have two variables. If x equals 10, then y, else, this is the pretty basic if-then syntax. You do if, condition, then thing, else other thing, else this, x plus 1, because we want to increment it so that it actually ends, and then we're going to do y times 2. So if we run this, anyway, so the problem last time was that I didn't actually do this right. I had the expression, but then I forgot to give it values. So if you give it 0 and then 1, essentially we're starting at 0, then we're going to 1. You'll see it gives us 1024, just as if we had done 2 to the 10th, which is, by the way, that's all this did. It just calculated 2 to the 10th in a different way. It's probably a little bit slower, but it's just a quick demonstration of the recursion. I do have a Fibonacci function defined. For example, if I want the 30th Fibonacci number, wait for a second, and then it'll spit it back out at us. So yeah. Actually, wait 7 seconds, then we'll spit it back out at you. Yeah, and then there's one more feature that I want to demonstrate about the constants, but actually I'm going to put that into the next video. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.